Okay, according to Zoom, oh, it says upcoming. There it goes. Yay! Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love. This is Morning Mojo Live. Today is Wednesday, November the 6th, 2024. And well, of course, there's a lot of mixed emotions in the air, I'm sure. I mean, I saw a whole bunch of mixed emotions all day yesterday. And although I had a blast, man, I had my granddaughter over and we had a lovely day here in North Carolina. I got my vote on early. So I kept my little sticker just because I wanted to. I thought it was, yeah, this one for me will go down in the history books, I suppose. And I want to say this. I think I was just chatting up the gals in the kitchen before I came here live. And I have to say that I really feel like this is an opportunity for everyone on the planet to just stop for a moment, and regardless of who one wanted to see in office. And remember that unless you actually have experienced someone in person, remember that you are creating within yourself an awful lot of vitriol and hatred, no matter which side you're looking at, that then your body is going to have to deal with. I mean, you can believe that or not if you want to, but I know that there's an awful lot of folks. We create with our thoughts and our feelings, our emotions, and there are those who are aware of that. And the manipulation that has been perpetrated on humanity for quite some time is great. And one could sit there and poo poo me all you wanna. But for some of you, maybe looking at a PBS documentary that is freely available on this channel under the playlist Century of Self. I highly recommend you go and take a look at it. Keep an open mind uh, as you're watching it, and keep that puzzle piece collector idea right in the forefront. More and more, all of the beings on this planet are beginning to come to question, well, just who are we? And why is everything like this? And who decided that this is the way we wanted to play? And can't we figure out a different way to play? Because this power over other that has really been supported on this planet for eons is waning. On November the 19th, Pluto will now enter Aquarius and will remain there for 20 years. Aquarius is all about the people, all about, well, it is also about, technology as well, but it's all about freedom. It's all about being different and unique And we have a lot to, so we really are, in my view, moving into the age of Aquarius in a huge way. And I mean, there's a lot of debate there. Ah, Penelope Dreamweaver came out for the fairies. Card number 28. Numerologically, that is a 1. Yeah, the fairies definitely wanted to come out to play. Kind of feeling 2 of these guys. Is that right? I'm going to put you down, and if you really want to come back out, scream again. So, if indeed the gnashing of teeth and the wailing, if you really even suspected for a moment that the way you hold your body and all that intensity, if you think that that kind of thing is hurting anyone other than you see, we do this to ourselves. Or at least I know I did. I mean, not everybody's ready to hear that, I guess, but I think that's what's up on the planet. Everyone is being asked, really? I mean, really? Is this what we're here for? Is and what makes you think that I don't know, there's just an awful lot, and it's on both sides, so please don't oh boy, that one really popped out, didn't it? It sure did. It flew way across. Ooh, land, flower, star. This one wants to take my breath away. Wow, feel the possibility in that. There is a perspective here for me of all potentiality. Wow. Because even though this says land, flower, star, I see water in here too. And of course, you see if you look in the middle of the palm there, I don't know if you can tell there's ripples from the middle going outward. Oh wow. And in the camera, I can make out a butterfly in the palm of the hand. That's very interesting to me. Wow, not to mention that looks very similar to my palm. That's kind of wild and eerie. Okay, that's interesting. I feel like for me personally, there's been some sort of an internal shift that's taking a different direction, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it. So I'll have to bring that back and share with you what I feel about that. I do feel like there's an openness. Um, like I said, I personally have seen since 2016 because realize I had sworn off voting because I knew when Ross Perot didn't win that it was all rigged, and I hadn't even started waking up then. I mean, my real true awakening to all the corruption that was on the planet didn't start really until 2009 when my brother showed me Zeitgeist, and that's when I went way down the rabbit hole. But even back when Perot was, going for it, what was that, late 80s, early 90s? I knew then it was all rigged. And so when my dad told me that he was a Trump supporter, I said, Dad, that's a distraction. They're not going to let that man win. He's not part of the club. So no matter how you slice it, ever since that, there's been, for me anyway, uh, communication after communication after communication from the universe to puzzle piece collect. No, I don't think this man is a savior by any means stretch of the imagination. What I do see are beings moving to do what they feel drawn to do from the inner. And from all appearances, from my perspective, when you take a being who isn't taking a pay, donates it every quarter, uh, left office poorer than he went in. By the way, that was the only one that I've heard tell of. Actually, I don't know the truth of that, that has happened to. Every other president ends up leaving richer. Um, gets shot at twice, or maybe even three times, three different attempts made, and is still here. If that's not source, uh, in one way or another, like I said, does this man know what he's doing for humanity? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know because I don't know him. I haven't had a chance to chat with him. Sure sounds like on some levels, though, if it ain't right up here, it's in the middle. It ain't way back here, because it is, but way back here, that's what's propelled it. That's at least from my perspective. And so it's an opportunity. I feel like what has happened is a huge opportunity for folks to see themselves in a whole new manner. Because I know I can't do nothing about the out there. I also feel like what we're seeing out there is everybody looking at themselves. That's why that kind of stuff feels like it's no longer supported. So we're going to go with Penelope Dreamweaver first. Like I said, she's card number 28, which is a one, numerologically, the I am, which is so interesting because I came across a document in my on my desk here as I was looking for something else that I recorded a while back on one of my other channels. And of course, it's no longer out there on the internet. Well, I think it might be, but not on my channel. And I was inspired to re-record it. Now, again, that might be just for me. But that you can look for that to be coming. And that's why I say it's kind of interesting, because the name of that document is hang on, I'm going to tell you. The Will and the Word of I Am. I printed this several years ago from the IUV when I was going back and forth over to um, Knoxville for the alleged trial that Lisa and I were called to be at. So that's coming up. So look for that over the next few days. And that's to me an example of showing me that I was on the right track, right? Because it showed me that document again just now. Oh, and the key words for this card are inspiration, magical dreams, visions. Weaver of dreams, bringer of visions, muse of artistic inspiration. Penelope weaves tapestries in the mind with threads of light, color, and sound. When she comes to us in dreams, we awaken under her enchantment and rush for our paints or clay or other forms of expression, which is interesting too, because over the last several days, I have marveled at some of the beautiful creativity I've been bearing witness to in different portions of the internet in differing and varying ways. And and of course, we spent a day yesterday having our own little creative sessions here with my granddaughter. So I love that. In this painting, Brian has shown us Penelope, uh, his own inspiration fairy, but we each have one who is more than willing to help us. Mine says to call her Grace because she says she isn't exactly someone I deserve just someone I'm lucky enough to have in my life. She plays hard at inspiring me, as does Penelope with Brian. Penelope says she is very pleased with Brian's results of her inspirations, but when I looked hopefully at Grace to see what she thinks about me, she just shrugs her shoulders. Then she flashes me a wicked grin, so I think it is all right. Inspiration fairies like their jobs, but they get really bored when people don't pay attention to them. Now that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Um, they sit around and file their fingernails while they think troublesome and mischievous thoughts. Sometimes they get exasperated enough to send us nightmares in an attempt to get us to wake up. Well, there's no metaphor in that, is there? Anybody want to recall the last couple of years here? Wow. Woo! I know that's the truth on a lot of levels for me. Man, boy, I tell you, when you really start delving into paying attention to uh, the universe, it certainly does communicate uh, quite prolifically. These fairies and their sisters, the fairies of expression, worked together as teams, helping us in our creative endeavors. The fairies of inspiration sprinkle us with special inspirational fairy dust so that we come up with ideas, rather like fertilizing a plant, and you know what plants are fertilized with, Grace says. Then their sisters, the fairies of expression, help us to give form to our creativity, manifesting it with our own particular talents. And so the advice here is seek visions and inspiration. Be aware that they are often subtle and require close attention. Fantasies, dreams, and daydreams are all places an inspiration fairy can contact us. But she can also pop up unannounced in the midst of the most ordinary of activities, in the bath, washing the dishes, driving the car, or anywhere else that our mind is half occupied and half running on idle. Pay special attention to unsought inspirations at this time. I find the more open I allow myself to be, and just the more present I am in the moment, which, is different for each being as to what that presence really equates to. For me, it's a shutting out of all the distractions, right? And that's not easy to do with the mind still sometimes, chattering away in there, but I don't try to control it anymore. I simply observe it, which is actually new for me because I'm such a controlling being. But, hey, I definitely am practicing it, right? And so the practicing of it and being open to seeing this inspiration as it comes, right? I mean, so it's pay special attention to unsought inspirations at this time. They have something wonderful to offer you, but it is up to you to catch them and bring them into reality. I really and don't think that a creative expression is going to, for me, it doesn't always come fully formed, and I don't really always know what either I'm to get out of it, what is to actually happen with it. This has happened before when I encounter beings that I know that we have something to do together. I never know what that something is. It just feels like that, and over time it can present itself. I've had that happen many times. And then too, it could be my interpretation of that. See, that's the other thing that, when I started this out this morning, I was talking about manipulations and things, but the biggest thing that I keep being shown for myself, the more of us that really pull into our knowing that every being on this planet, bar none, including those that you would term evil, and I don't care what side you're talking about, every being on this planet has been traumatized, programmed, conditioned into a particular manner of thinking, one that none of us have any clue as to how that actually took place for that being. I've been shown over and over and over again as a puzzle piece collector sitting quietly in a room. I have watched the moment of trauma happen in a child from a terribly innocent way of speaking, not meaning to traumatize, not trying to program and condition, but it was. We do it to each other quite innocently because we know no other way. It's time to open up and see that and create that new way forward. I'll tell you, looking into my own programming and conditioning was the very best thing I could have ever done for myself because it really showed me a thing. Big time, big time. I really am feeling a shift, a different kind of connectivity. This, for me, is more than just land, flower, star. Is land speaks to the earth element, star speaks to the air element, and flower, of course, earth as well. But for me, I also see the water element in there. So this is a very interesting card, and they're all, of course, contained within that one set of artwork. I don't know, there's something very interesting about this card and the way it's presenting to me. So let's see. This one's a little, okay, there we go. Land, flower, sun. I definitely am feeling that there's like I said, a shift within me, if nothing else, but I kind of feel like it's going to be for the entirety of the planet. Just in everyone will feel things in differing ways. We got to get that too, and that's part of that whole how each individual has been programmed and conditioned. Okay, so land, flower, star. This is what the book has to say about it. The soul of spring has come for you. It doesn't matter what the calendar says. Your life is in bloom, my dear. Celebrate. Just as the flowers awaken to the warmth of the sun's proximity, so too is your heart blossoming now. This is an expansive moment in your earth walk. There is a mirth and a lightness emanating from your spirit that is drawing others near. They sense your majesty and are drawn to the fragrant energy you are giving off. There is nothing you can do to hide your radiance, so allow yourself to bask in the attention and enjoy it. You are blooming, babe. Let people smell your petals and admire your blossoms. You are an inspiration to so many in this moment. Wow. Okay, so I'll take that because I that's something different for me. I do recognize that there are those who feel inspired by what I do here. So I will now take that and say thank you to the universe for bringing that to my attention. And for the first time ever, I've been able to say that out loud. Isn't that lovely? And now all of a sudden I want to cry. But I want to say, so I did say I feel a shift within me, a very real shift, because I'm telling you, I think I had really started to slip over into, well, maybe I'm not supposed to witness all of this. Maybe I'm not supposed to, because I hadn't felt drawn to doing anything until about a week ago. And now where I feel myself very much on fire. And I'm noticing this is card numbers. Now, here's the weird thing about these cards. I don't understand it. I got to read that book, I guess. Take the time out to read that book. The card has a number given to it of 75, but you don't go to page number 75. You go to the back of the book, you look at the card. The card tells you the number of the page to go to. So the card itself is 75. I have no rhyme or reason as to why they've numbered it number 75. But that is a 3 numerologically. That to me speaks to the Trinity, which is what I feel we are all moving through in very many ways, should we choose. It is, I have termed this, I've actually said this. This is the second coming for me. Not that I am. No, that's not what I meant. So don't get it twisted. What is happening on the earth is the second coming. It's spread out through the population. The Christ consciousness is entering into the field. Each being is being asked, who are you? Who do you identify as? I mean, look at it on the world stage. Who do you identify as? Isn't that a really big thing right now? I think it is. So as we are each asked that question, well, I say that is the second coming because it's spread out throughout the entire population. It's harder to kill one being if the light is spread through many. You see, I have been saying for years that there's a redundancy. This plan that we heard about, that too is a huge metaphor. I don't care what you think about that phenomenon right there. But as far as I'm concerned, it was certainly source driven. The act of asking questions seems to interrupt programming. And I think that's because it will stun the program and now they have to search for an actual answer rather than refuting a fact or a statistic. I've watched that happen too. So I don't know. I feel like this is very interesting to me on so many levels, this reading here this morning, because there's a huge shift on the whole planet, not just me. I do feel, of course, always and first and foremost, this is for me. But if you've been drawn here, there is something here for you. Maybe not all of it, but at least something here for you. And the last card that I got this morning was the all-encompassing hand. This is from my Rumi deck. The all-encompassing hand, card number 20, which is a 2, numerologically. Wow, I not only see a mother and babe, or male and female, twin souls, however you like. I also do see the hand. It's just, I also see an individuated face in that as well. So that's very interesting. Things really are multidimensional, and the way it feels to me, it's just nothing is as it seems, and it's only not just my perspective, but my desire to have it There's something in science. I don't know why I'm being shown this right now. So maybe somebody needs to hear this, either somebody here now or somebody later. In science, there's a thing where they say that the human brain uh, looks for faces in things or something like that, right? So that's, but I also feel like that is, in many ways, um, a recognition within me of me knowing that the entire universe speaks to me, right? In terms that I can understand only if I allow that in. It's always there for me, but whether I can open and bring it into me to then cognize, sort out, even, right, is the way it feels, as I'm feeling into that. The all encompassing hand. You are the essence of my existence. Who am I? A mirror in your hand. Whatever you do, I will do. I am your irresistible reflection. With every breath, I feel my heart is beating with yours. In your joy, I am exuberant. In your sadness, I am in sorrow. If you are bitter, I become bitter. If you are grace, I become grace. My joy is when I am bewildered in your beauty and taste the sweetness of love on your lips. If I pick a rose without you, it becomes a thorn in my hand. If I am the thorn, I become the rose in your hand. Rumi. So this is all about me with me. For me, that's what I hear this speaking on. Uh, that's my inner interpretation of that entire poem by Rumi there. I have held your hand in mine for so long that I have long since ceased to distinguish where your sacred flesh once felt separate from mine. This sacred grasp pulses with love divine, and there is one hand holding and held, one being loving and loved. Though we may appear by less ecstatic angels to be two, the love that gives us this handfast, beloved, is so powerful we could spin the entire universe upon its axis, and still our hands would be joined, gently and yet enduringly, in unfailing love and sublime friendship. Perhaps you are in need of reassurance, dearest one. Perhaps you have been feeling somewhat alone on your path, or struggling with a matter deep within your precious, beautiful heart, and speaking of it to no one. Well, I have been speaking on it a little bit, but not a lot, because, thoughts become things, and I'm realizing in these moments of now that I was holding things loosely and yet also feeling, I think I feel the collective an awful lot too when I don't think I am feeling the collective. So it's very interesting, this experience I'm having right now. uh, Such loneliness can foster in the heart. With no other to bear witness to your life experience, you may question your life, your sanity, your truths, and create doubt where no doubt need be. This, and you know what? Okay, so this is really speaking to, I I have foreseen a time where I start a club. I don't know what else to call it but a club where we get together and have these conscious conversations. I know that the Conscious Conversation Central, the whole premise I had for Conscious Conversation Central, if you think for 1 minute that every conversation I enter into, I am not open and ready to learn from others, you are sadly mistaken. And I find it very so helpful to be able to get together and chat about things in an open ended manner, um, with folks who don't become easily offended, right? Because for me, all I'm trying to do is suss me out. And I sometimes like to have conversations where I can get other points of view, other perspectives, because all I have is my own. Right. And sometimes it's a lot easier. Oh, I learn from everybody's perspective. And I think if everybody could adopt that kind of a feeling, what more it would be. So that's what that's speaking to for me. So I got to write that down as something I've got to figure out how to get that going. Um, And maybe now that there's been this really huge shift, folks won't be in so much fear, because that's what it seems to me, that it has been mostly about. This must stop now. You are worthy of so much more. And this suffering is not essential for your growth now. It is time to let it be and to open up to the touch of grace. So, this oracle comes to you as the hand of the divine. It is the all encompassing hand, the hand that has no limitation upon the blessings it can bestow. No, I'm sorry, that it can communicate to you. No, it can bestow upon the troubles it can lift from you, upon the tenderness it can communicate to you through sacred touch. Although that divine hand, allow that divine hand to reach for you, beloved. Do not turn it away. Do not let old shame, guilt, or mistaken notions of false independence keep you from accepting this heavenly hand. Yeah, see, that's where the ego gets involved, doesn't it? I'd much rather show up and say, look, man, I was wrong. I made a mistake. Please forgive me. Help me see me, than run and hide. At this point in my life, I'm 63. I don't got time for no kind of games no more. If you go by conventional ideas of how much time we got on the planet. Uh, thusly, let's see, do not turn away, do not let old shame, guilt, or mistaken notions of false independence keep you from accepting this heavenly hand. This hand reaches to gently wipe away the tears of the past. It will deftly unravel the ties that have bound your own hands, preventing you from fully giving and receiving according to your worth, which is incontestable and without limit. This divine hand will reach for you in your meditations, your sleep, and your prayers. It will reach for you through life circumstances, through the smile or hug you receive from another, or the touch of another human being. It will reach you through the song of a bird, the falling of leaves, the soft fur of a beloved pet, through song lyrics that seem to speak what you are feeling deep inside, or the colorful dress of the stranger across the street who catches your eye and makes you smile. This divine hand is reaching for you through this oracle. Yes, says the great beloved, I am reaching for you. Yes, I know you. You are my own. I would never abandon you. Perhaps you have turned from me unknowingly, forgotten how much I love you, because the world is in a forgetful daze too, and ignores the caress of the breeze, the joyful acknowledgement of every sunrise, and the reverence made radiant in every sunset. Life is the touch bestowed by my hand. Shall you receive me? Let me love you. Let me restore your soul and remind you there is nothing to fear now. Come lay down your weapons and your fear for this moment. Quit using that mouth to cry for war or to cry in despair. Bring yourself to my table and use that mouth to taste some bold and rich wine instead. Enjoy with me in this moment the unbreakable bond that lies between us. Allow me to bring the cup of wine to your lips. Behind your head, so gently, lies my all encompassing hand. Know the peace of my love, so deeply it can register within you now that you shall never forget it, never again forget it. This oracle comes with a particular message for you. There may be a situation, a circumstance in your life that you may feel is somehow unable to be solved. This oracle comes with reassurance that there is nothing beyond the reach of the divine hand of grace. All can be solved. All can be resolved. There is always a higher, better, more beautiful outcome possible. You are asked to pray using the sacred honoring ritual, which I never read because I feel like we all should make our own. If you want it, if you want a copy of it so that you can look at it if you feel drawn and you'd like to use it to make your own, I'm happy to send it to you. Just connect with me and I'm happy to do that. The divine has this situation in hand, and all is unfolding as it should be. Ask for help each day by saying, I ask for help this day in all ways through unconditional love. Thank you. And I actually ask to be shown things and to be shown what is in my highest good and the highest good for all. And I move in that way. Sometimes I'm shown some things about myself I don't exactly care for, but I did ask to be shown, and I can choose to look or not. I choose to look because okay, so prior to the last few years, my life hadn't gone so great. You know what I mean? And until I started my quest into me, the truth of who I am, and the realization that I cannot fix anybody else. Actually, there's nothing wrong with anybody else. It was me, right? And the difference that's made in my life, I can't even tell you. You must ask for help first, however, so ask. Empower that all powerful hand of grace to bless your life and all circumstances, relationships, and situations that have been or are yet to be for you. I want to say this entire reading really seems to just echo what I felt when I awoke this morning. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful for everyone. I hope you got something out of this. I know I sure did. I am releasing more of the Joshua channelings once a day here on this channel, and look out for the Conscious Conversation Central conversations to be coming back. And if you are interested in participating in some conscious conversations, hit me up, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com, and we'll have a little Zoom chat to get to know each other, see what you want to talk about, and we'll make it happen, man. I love those kinds of conversations. I also want to say that there's a lot coming in for me right now. So I've been recording every day. Yesterday is the first day I haven't recorded since I started back on YouTube on the channels. And there's new stuff coming in all the time. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. But I got to tell you, it just feels to me like there is a lot. So if you want to get to know you, I have some ways that you can, for free, find yourself. And if you want to know how to do that, I can point you to different websites that I've used, and I'm happy to do that. So, again, just reach out. There are ways we can find out what we might have had in mind when we came here. And so, till we meet again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. There is always another way to look at a situation, another perspective. Just step back, step to the side, and try to take in a different perspective. You might be surprised at what you find. Ask yourself some questions and then listen for the answers everywhere. Till next time, be well, my friends.